Hey guys, what's up? We have the third of the 4 Duel Links Primal Burst videos, and this time we will be covering the rares. The first card is Cybernetic Magician. This is a light spellcaster level 6 with 2400 attack and 1000 defense, and its effect is you can discard 1 card to target 1 face-up monster on the field. That target's attack becomes 2000 until the end phase. This card is a decent 1 tribute monster and provides some of your weaker monsters with the ability to become 2000 for the turn. Therefore, if they have battle-based effects, they will get the advantage as well as using their effects. This can be enough if you have a field of 3 to defeat your opponent on that turn. Nano Breaker is an Earth Machine level 4 with 1600 attack and 1800 defense, and its effect is if this card attacks a face-up level 3 or lower monster, destroy the monster with this card's effect without applying damage calculation. This card can get rid of lower level monsters, the problem being that since it is simple destruction, you cannot inflict battle damage to what tends to be lower strength monsters. Beige Vanguard of Darkworld is a Dark Fiend level 4 with 1600 attack and 1300 defense, and its effect is if this card is discarded to the graveyard by a card effect, special summon it from the graveyard. This card is useful as a discard cost for certain cards, as this resummons itself and has decent stats to stay on the field. Brow Huntsman of Darkworld is a Dark Fiend level 3 with 1400 attack and 800 defense, and its effect is if this card is discarded to the graveyard by a card effect, draw 1 card, plus another card if this card was discarded from your hand to your graveyard by an opponent's card effect. This card is able to draw a card as well as draw another if it is discarded by your opponent, providing additional advantage. Bron Mad King of Darkworld is a Dark Fiend level 4 with 1800 attack and 400 defense, and its effect is when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can discard 1 card. This card fuels your Darkworlds by actively discarding them and has a decent attack. Scar Scout of Darkworld is a Dark Fiend level 2 with 500 attack and 500 defense, and its effect is when this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, add 1 level 4 or lower Darkworld monster from your deck to your hand. This card is able to search for any of your lower level Darkworld monsters. The Forces of Darkness is a normal trap card that says target 2 Darkworld monsters in your graveyard, add those targets to your hand. This provides graveyard recovery and works well if you have a bad hand later in the duel. Rainbow Overlord of Darkworld is a Dark Fiend level 7 with 2500 attack and 1800 defense, and its effect is if this card is discarded from your hand to your graveyard by an opponent's card effect, special summon this card from the graveyard. When this card is special summoned this way, destroy all monsters your opponent controls or all spell and trap cards they control. This card is able to act as either a Raigeki or a Harpy's Feather Duster when resummoned, and has a decent stat considering it is reviving. This appeared in Season 3 of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX when they entered the Dark World area within another dimension. Volcanic Shell is a Fire Pyro level 1 with 100 attack and 0 defense, and its effect is once per turn you can pay 500 life points, add 1 Volcanic Shell from your deck to your hand. This card must be in the graveyard to activate and to resolve this effect. This card is fuel for your Blaze Accelerator to destroy an opponent's monster, and can use itself to search for another copy to destroy a total of 2 monsters within a turn. Blaze Accelerator is a continuous spell card that says you can target 1 monster your opponent controls, send 1 Pyro-type monster with 500 or less attack from your hand to the graveyard, and if you do, destroy that target. You cannot declare an attack during a turn you activate this effect. This card can help you get rid of your opponent's strongest monsters, however with the drawback that you cannot attack on the same turn. This may not be such a problem, as some Volcanics have burn effects that prevent them from attacking anyway. Try Blaze Accelerator is a continuous spell card that says activate only by sending 1 face-up Blaze Accelerator on your side of the field to the graveyard. You can send 1 Pyro-type monster from your hand to the graveyard to destroy 1 monster your opponent controls and inflict 500 damage to your opponent, but you cannot declare an attack during this turn if you do. This card does the same thing as Blaze Accelerator, but causes 500 burn damage each time it is used. Volcanic Hammerer is a Fire Pyro level 5 with 2400 attack and 1500 defense, and its effect is, once per turn, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to the number of volcanic monsters in your graveyard times 200. If you activate this effect, this card cannot attack during this turn. This card is one of the burn cards that stops you from attacking. When paired with Blaze Accelerator, you can prevent your opponent from building their monsters up, whilst inflicting the maximum amount of burn damage from discarding your volcanics. It has an attack stat that will also keep itself on the field. Lich Lord King of the Underworld is a Dark Zombie level 6 with 2400 attack and 1200 defense, and its effect is, if you tribute summon this card, the tribute must be dark. If this card is tributed by a card's effect and sent to the graveyard, it returns to its owner's hand. This card can return itself to the hand. This is not useful unless you intend to use it for something like Alter for Tribute, and then activate a discard effect from them to act as a double cost. Guardian Sheepcloud is a Water Fairy level 1 with 0 attack and 0 defense, and its effect is, when this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, special summon 2 Cloudian tokens, Fairy type Water level 1 with 0 attack and 0 defense in a defense position. These tokens cannot be tributed for a tribute summon unless it is for a Cloudian monster. This card is able to summon 2 tokens, which is specifically to only be used to summon a Cloudian monster, or can be used to protect your life point. Summon Cloud is a continuous spell card that says, once per turn during your main phase, if you don't control any monsters, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower Cloudian monster from your hand, or from either player's graveyard. If you special summon a monster from the graveyard with this effect, destroy this card. This card can bring out Cloudians to the field to provide advantage, however it has the limitation that if you revive from the graveyard, it gets destroyed. Gareth Lightsworn Warrior is a Light Warrior level 4 with 1850 attack and 1300 defense, and its effect is, each time a card is sent from your deck to the graveyard by the effect of a Lightsworn monster you control, except Gareth Lightsworn Warrior, send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard, then draw 1 card for each Lightsworn monster sent to the graveyard by this effect. This is one of the strongest level 4 within the archetype, outside of Wolf, and can draw up to 2 cards for each Lightsworn sent to the graveyard to continually mill your deck and activate their effect. Dragonith Lightsworn Dragon is a Light Dragon level 6 with 2000 attack and 1600 defense, and its effect is, this card gains 300 attack and defense for each Lightsworn monster with a different name in your graveyard. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. During each of your end phases, send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. This card is able to become over 3000, provided you can send at least 4 different Lightsworns to your graveyard. It also has a piercing damage effect, as well as fueling its own attack by milling 3 cards per turn. Storiko is a Fire Dinosaur level 2 with 500 attack and 400 defense, and its effect is, if this card is destroyed by battle, special summon 2 Durak tokens, Dinosaur type Fire level 1 with 0 attack and 0 defense in defense position. These tokens cannot be tributed for a tribute summon unless it is for a Durak monster. This card can generate tokens which can be tributed for a Durak monster or to protect your life. Durak Hera is a Fire Dinosaur level 6 with 2300 attack and 1500 defense, and its effect is, when a defense position Durak monster you control, except Durak Hera, is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard. This is able to summon itself easily without requiring any cost. Gemnite Garnet is an Earth Pyro level 4 with 1900 attack and 0 defense, and is a normal monster. Despite this, it is useful as it has a great attack stat. Gem Knight Tourmaline is an Earth Thunder level 4 with 1600 attack and 1800 defense, and it is a normal monster. It has a good balance of stats. Gem Knight Ruby is an Earth Pyro Fusion level 6 with 2500 attack and 1300 defense, and requires a Gem Knight Garnet and another Gem Knight monster. And its effects must first be fusion summoned with the above fusion material monsters. Once per turn, you contribute one face-up gem monster. This card gains attack equal to the attributed monster's attack on the field until the end phase. If this card attacks a defense position monster, gain the inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. This card can inflict piercing battle damage, as well as make itself gain the attack points of a monster it tributes to become easily 4000 attack. Gem Knight Topaz is an Earth Thunder Fusion level 6 with 1800 attack and 1800 defense, and requires a Gem Knight Tourmaline and a Gem Knight monster. And its effects must first be fusion summoned with the above fusion material monsters. This card can attack twice during each battle phase. When this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack of the destroyed monster in the graveyard. This card is able to attack twice, as well as inflict burn damage equal to the monsters it defeats. If used properly, you could probably end your opponent in that very same turn. Gem Knight Emerald is an Earth Rock level 4 with 1800 attack and 800 defense, and its effect is you can banish this face-up card you control and one face-up normal monster you control to target one Gem Knight fusion monster in your graveyard, special summon it from the graveyard. This is able to bring back a fusion monster from the graveyard, and it has a decent attack stat. Gem Knight Crystal is an Earth Rock level 7 with 2450 attack and 1950 defense, and it's a normal monster and can be brought out by the effect of Gem Knight Alexandrite. Gem Knight Citrine is an Earth Pyro Fusion level 7 with 2200 attack and 1950 defense, and requires a Gem Knight monster and a Pyro monster. Its effect must first be fusion summoned. If this card attacks or is attacked, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. This is able to attack without your opponent activating anything. This can be good against battle-specific spell and traps. However, those that can activate at any time can still deal with this card. Xian's Daredevil is an Earth Warrior level 4 with 1600 attack and 1000 defense, and its effect is, when this card is normal summoned, place one Bushido counter on it, maximum 1. This card gains 300 attack while it has a Bushido counter on it. Once per turn, you can target one face-up card on the field that you can place a Bushido counter on, remove one Bushido counter from this card, then place it on that target. This card, when summoned, becomes 1900 attack. Due to the counter, this card is able to manipulate its Bushido counter to move it to another card that can use it. Platinum Exarch of Darkworld is a Dark Fiend level 6 with 1500 attack and 2400 defense, and its effect is, if this card is discarded to the graveyard by a card effect, if it was discarded from your hand to your graveyard by an opponent's card effect, target one Fiend-type monster on the field, special summon this card from the graveyard, then that target, if any, gains 500 attack. This card is able to resummon itself and provide a fiend with 500 additional attack. Dark Smog is a continuous trap card that says, once per turn, you can target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, discard one fiend-type monster, and if you do, banish that target. This card can fuel your Dark Worlds, as well as prevent your opponent from recovering monsters from the graveyard. The ability to set up your own graveyard is the main effect of this card, but preventing decks that rely on summoning from a graveyard, such as Red Eyes Black Dragon and Blue Eyes White Dragon, is always useful. The final card is Gem Knight Lazuli. This is an Earth Rock level 1 with 600 attack and 100 defense, and its effect is, If this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can target one normal monster in your graveyard, add that target to your hand. This can recover a normal monster from the graveyard, however only works on a card effect used. However, if you think Gem Knight Fusion, if you were to fuse this and another card, another one of the Gem Knights, you can not only bring out your fusion monster, you are able to recover pretty much any Gem Knight monsters, because they're either all normal monsters or they are all Gemini monsters. And consider that Gemini monsters in the graveyard are still classified as normal monsters. This means you have access to whichever cards you like without losing too much advantage from this. What do you think of these cards? Which deck are you likely to build from, and how do you see these cards changing the game? For myself, I love the Gem Knights. They are very versatile and can win consistently. Leave your comments down below, like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and as always, thank you for taking the time to watch this video.
And